morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. First off, I want to give a shout out to all the content providers out here. Last night, kind of late, I did a show and I was talking about Byron Allen just purchasing a black news network and what this could really mean for black media. So, this morning, I want to start out by giving a shout out to all content providers, everybody out here who's really trying to build. So, yeah, now I got that out the way. Let's talk about this update. This is something that I talked about. It was maybe uh, about 6, 7 months ago, and it's a story about a couple who had this whole doomsday idea. I guess they call it the doomsday case now. There's a lady named Lori Vallow Daybell and her current husband, Chad Daybell. Man, this story right here is so wild, and it began around the time the pandemic started, and everything began to shut down and stuff like that. Well, let's do a little backtrack because some people don't know the story. Lori Vallow, she was a Mormon wife. She was married to a man. I think his name was David Vallow, something like that. Last name was Vallow. And, they're Mormons, they're going to church, and they have a beautiful family, and they're doing all of this cohabitating and trying to make it work, just like everybody else. Well, uh, Lori, going to the Mormon church, began to fall in love with one of the leaders and one of the speakers at the church, Chad Daybell. Chad Daybell, I guess he seemed to be a pretty successful dude and very charismatic, the total opposite of what Lori's husband was. So, they started kind of feeling each other and they started kind of messing around. But here's where everything starts to get twisted, because along with their lust that they're having for each other, there's a message that's being preached that they both agree to, just like so intensely, and that's that we're in the last day, and everything that was happening during the pandemic was leading up to the rapture and everybody being taken up out of here and basically the end of the world. There was a whole doomsday scenario that they were preaching, teaching, and believing, all the while they're going with this whole this personal situation with them having an affair and all of that stuff. So I guess Chad didn't want to deal with his wife anymore, and he was trying to find a way to get out of that situation. And Lori, she had this knack for making people disappear because her first husband, Mr. Vallow, um, she got her brother to kill him. Yeah, it was like she called him over, said it was a domestic situation, and her brother got into an altercation with him and ended up having to kill him. That was the story that was told. But if you go back, the police have reports where Mr. Vallow had made calls to the police department to report Miss Vallow's behavior because she was acting out of character, I should say, just to be respectful. And he was concerned, and he concerned about his safety and the safety of his children because she was acting erratic and stuff. And that was based on this doomsday doctrine that she had bought into with Chad Daybell. And he didn't know that because he didn't know the affair was going on. So now you fast forward, she's convinced her brother to kill her husband, Mr. Vallow. Now she's free to be with Mr. Daybell. But there's one problem. See, Mr. Daybell don't want to have children, and Lori having these two children, JJ and Tylee, this complicated things for them. And plus, this is the end time, and And I'm just telling you the doctrine and the way that they were thinking. This is their mindset. So this is the end time, and these children have no future at all. So what would it benefit for them to still be around and us to have to worry about them when we can just ease their pain and take them out of here quickly and humanely so that they don't have to deal with these end time horrors that's about to take over the earth. This was the mindset that Lori Daybell and Chad Daybell was operating in. And so Lori helped Chad to off his wife so that they could be free and clear together. So after that was done, now what are we going to do with these kids? Well, around September 2019, family members started wondering, where are the kids? Where's Lori? We haven't seen or heard from her at all in a while. This is not right. This is weird. And so, the grandparents and friends of the family that they were close to and was always interacting with, they started calling around, and nobody knows where Tylee is. Nobody knows where JJ is. These are the children of Lori Daybell, or Lori Vallow at the time. So Lori, unbeknownst to everybody else, freshly married to Mr. Daybell, considerably a short period of time after Mr. Daybell's wife is mysteriously killed or dies, and then the children disappear. And so they're calling Lori. Well, guess where she is? Her and Chad Daybell are in Hawaii, and they're on vacation. So initially, a family member called and said they haven't heard from me, none of the kids. So they just wanted the police to do a welfare check. Police go to the home of Miss Vallow, and nobody's there. So they get in contact with her, finally asking her where her children are, and she says that they're with her friend, Miss Gibbs. Now, Miss Gibbs, once she's contacted by the police for the welfare check, and she says she haven't seen the kids, she calls Lori, and now everybody's asking Lori where the kids are, and she's refusing to tell them where the kids are. Now, mind you, this whole time she's in Hawaii with her new husband, and they're just living it up. So, come back. Finally, they had the police in Hawaii to arrest her and her husband, her new husband, and extradite them back to, I think it was Ohio, where they were from, so that they could be questioned, where are the kids and stuff. That's all they want to know, where the kids at. And so now just everything starts to unravel. Now you find out that the children are dead. And then, after further investigation, they found the children buried in the, not even the backyard of Chad Daybell's house, but like on the side of the house. Like there's a yard, there's an area of yard on the side of his house, and then there's the road, there's the main road with traffic going by it at all times. And he buried them right out in the open. And so right now, they have the pickaxe, they have the shovel, they have some hairs that they want to have tested, because I mean it's very evident who did this and we know what happened. So why are they drawing this out so much like they're doing? I'll tell you why they're drawing it out so much like they're doing, for the same exact reason why Lori Vallow was able to have her husband murdered, able to murder Chad Daybell's wife, and then was able to murder her two children without any question. We know why. I was reading an article about it because I like to try to get all the details for you so I can explain stuff properly. And the article was saying that because of her shiny facade, then there was no suspicion on her for doing any of this. And so we know what they mean when they use wording like her shiny facade. Oh no, she was just such a nice person and such a bubbly person that we would have never considered that. Come on, we are not that naive. Who's that naive to believe that all they was really, they were just blinded by her character? No, no. For one, she was an ex beauty queen, so she was considerably attractive lady, and she's of the ethnicity who has a certain privilege in this country. That's the main point right there. That was the reason why she was able to get away with doing so much that she was doing. Her husband as well, because of the mask that they wore. Church leaders, regardless of what your feelings are towards the Mormon church, it is a church, it is a way of life, it is a culture for those people, and uh, they live it pretty stringently, same as any other religion would do. And so, you know, within that, they just got everything twisted whenever they started talking about the end times, because people will lose their minds trying to figure out and trying to put a date or expiration date, I should say, on the world. People lose their minds every day because of this. And these end time prophecies, this is why people are afraid of the book of Revelations. This is why people are afraid to talk about end time prophecies, because they are afraid of the perilous times that are ahead. But they don't understand the prophecy, nor do they rightly divide the word of revelation. And this is what has them in the state of confusion, the state of fear, and always, thinking the worst case scenario whenever they see a couple signs here and there, or something goes awry, or something's not stable anymore like it used to be. Now they start to, and I believe that that's all about putting your faith in things and people and places. Whenever you put your faith in these types of things and people and places, then you're always going to have a shaky mentality. You're going to always have a shaky emotional system, I should say, because you're relying on something that's fallible. You're relying on somebody who makes mistakes, and who maybe wouldn't do something as well as you would because they don't care as much. But we rely on these people, and we put all of our trust and all of our everything in these people's hands, our finances, our well-being medically, all of these things we put in other people's hands. And we worry because, that's just how we are as people. We don't want to do the work to do it ourselves, but if we hand it off to somebody else, then we're going to badger them and harass them to death to make sure that they're doing it the way that we want to do it. Yeah, that's us. That's humans. That's our nature. And so, I say all that to just say this because I can often get off topic, man. Lori Vallow Daybell was able to do all of the murders that she committed, which was having her brother to kill her husband, then helping her lover to kill his wife, and then having her lover to kill her two children, allegedly. Yeah, we put that in there just for legal sake. Ain't that crazy? One word like allegedly can be the difference between you being sued and not being sued. But back to the story. So allegedly, she's done all of these things, and she's on trial. He's on trial right now. They're getting all of this evidence tested, which should have been done from day one when it was found. I don't know why they're waiting this long to actually have those items tested. This should have been done and over with a long time ago. Like I said, the Charges were dropped and not dropped, but the charges came out in September of 2019. We're in 2022. These people should, yeah, yeah, I'll leave that open. But these privileges have been explained time and time again by many serial killers, how they were able to move around and how they were given benefit of the doubt because of the color of their skin, because of their standing in society. You will notice that there are many killers that have a pretty respectable reputation within the community. They're not low lives that hang out in the woods and dirty and all of the depictions that they like to give. You know, they're the clean cut, well groomed, good smelling men and women out here that have absolute mental health issues, and they've gone undiagnosed, and they're acting out and they're taking people out and they're being given benefit of the doubt because of their outward appearance. That's the bottom line. And if law enforcement and everybody else continue to use outward appearance as a judgment on how to handle a situation, we're going to continue to have the brutal murders. We're going to continue, and that's murders on both sides, because you have the cops who make those judgments on black and brown people and they end up murdering us. And then you have them letting the serial killer get away because they look like them more than likely. So, yeah. Look into that case. Her name is Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell, and they call it the Doomsday murder case. And this is just my update on what's been going on. I said that I was going to do updates on some of the stuff that I was talking about. I was going to give updates on. So here you go. Here's another update. This is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.